entire existence from which we take our origin and towards which we tend. The world religions endeavor by way of well-defined concepts and exact language to answer these questions. Then the declaration summarizes the teachings of major world religions, and I would like to pinpoint only on Hinduism and Islam. I quote again, in Hinduism, men and women, of course, explore the divine mystery and express it both in the limitless riches of myth, and our Swamiji already explained, the Idihasas, Puranas, and accurately defined insights of philosophy, the Vedas, the Upanishads, and so on. Various categories of religions already explained by Swamiji. The followers of Hinduism seek release, moksha, from the trials of this present life by ascetical practices, the yamas, the niyamas, by profound meditation, dhyana, nididhyasana, the jnana marga, and recourse to God in confidence and love, the bhakti marga and the karma marga. The church has a high regard for the Muslim brethren. They worship God who is one, living and subsistent, merciful and almighty, creator of heaven and earth, who has spoken to men through Nabis, to prophets, Adam, Nuh, Ibrahim, Yaqub, Yusuf, Musa, Dawood, Sulaiman, Yunus, Isa Nabi, Muhammad Nabi, and so on. They strive to submit themselves without reserve to the hidden decrees of God, just as Abraham submitted himself to God's plan, to whose faith Muslims eagerly link their own. Although not acknowledging him as God, they venerate Jesus as a prophet, his virgin mother. They also honor and even at times devoutly invoke. Finally, they await the day of judgment and reward of God following the resurrection of the dead. For this reason, they highly esteem an upright life and worship God especially by way of prayer, niskara, alms deeds, zakat, and fasting, especially during Ramzan. However, the Ecumenical Council of Bishops held in Rome admits the stand the Church took against Muslims in the bygone times. Over the centuries, many quarrels and dissensions have arisen between Christians and Muslims. The Sacred Council now pleads with all to forget the past and urges that a sincere effort be made to achieve mutual understanding for the benefit of all men and women. Let them together, Christians and Muslims, and all the believers, preserve and promote peace, liberty, social justice, and moral values. And this against this background of openness and respect of the Church towards world religion, I would like to rethink the role of religion in the right perspective. Basically, religion is the expression of the spiritual experience. Every religion evolves out of an intense experience of the encounter between the divine and human. The breakthrough of the divine spirit into human history finds concrete expression through culturally conditioned factors of human creativity. Since these factors have a rich variety, the self-revelation of the divine in human culture is articulated through diversity of religions. Thus we have the Semitic religions, the Judaism, the Christianity and Islam, the religions of India, Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism and Sikhism, the religion of China, Confucianism and Taoism, the religion of the former Persia, Zoroastrianism, or the religion of Japan, Shintoism. There are basically four areas in which the spiritual experience finds its articulation in every religion: the creed, the cult, the code, and the community. There are the channels through which spirituality evolves into religion. In other words, these form the four corner pillars of every religion. religious structure built on the foundation of spirituality. The creedal element or the deen of or the belief are the points of faith which the believers have to adhere to. Example in Christianity, the fundamentals of faith and belief in one God who is triune, the divinity of Christ. Christ is the Son of God. The acceptance of the Holy Bible as Word of God, revealed and inspired by God. The belief in the eternal reward of the just and the damnation of the unjust. Secondly, the cult. God is worshipped on the basis of grace of the core spiritual experience, which includes prayer, worship, liturgy, a feast, festivals, pilgrimages, and so on. The code describes the ethical norms, the moral and spiritual values enshrined in the Holy Scriptures, either in Quran or Bhagavad Gita or Vedas or Bible or the Guru Granth Sahib. So we have the Holy Scriptures in response to the demands of the primary God's experience. The love of God, the love of neighbor, unselfishness, forgiveness, compassion, empathy, sharing, respect of human persons, service, sacrifice, and surrenderance, and so on. Fourthly, the community is the social structure through which the believers continue to participate in the experience of the original encounter with the divine. So the believing community needs these symbolic elements to articulate its faith, just as one needs language in order to develop and communicate one's thoughts and emotions. Through the four functions, the spiritual and religious community gets integrated with the social fabric of the life. As spirituality evolves into a concrete religion, believers get incorporated to certain social structures and attuned to definitive cultural expressions. The language of creed develops a concrete conceptual framework which tends to be normative in articulating the faith experience. For Christianity, the concept of God, the concept of Trinity, for example. In the realm of cult, rituals and rubrics evolve and fix the symbolic expression into pre-programmed operations, different methods of prayer, which reaches to the culmination in mysticism. The interpretation of ethical norms is weighed down under legal prescriptions. We have in Catholic Church the Code of Canon Law, or we have the Sharia of the Muslims, or the Manusmriti of Hinduism. Finally, fellowship in the religious community is controlled by set patterns of governing offices. This is an inevitable sociological evolution. Inevitable because religion is, spirituality is development within socio-cultural modes of life's self-creation. In this process, extrinsic elements infiltrate into the sacred landscape of religion. Political powers and commercial forces manipulate religious feelings and expressions in order to safeguard their vested interests. Then what are the consequences? The theological reflections or the creedal formulations loses its alertness and gets stagnated